Listening to another edition of Blewett's Blitz. Eight left, eight reviews left. I'm going to try to get Tippman done today. 62 plays. That's the longest one I have left. Q after that at 61 plays. And then we got Sauce, Quincy, Conklin, bunch of guys. I'm taking some risk today to try to try to get this done. I have a really, really bad feeling I'm not going to be able to get it done. Nonetheless, who cares? Let's get some work in. Joe Tippmann, 62 plays. I believe his first three games started out at right guard, right? So we'll look at those plays. And then past that, obviously he played center for the rest of the year. So we'll see some positive reports about Tippman in camp right now. Referencing like his, how much he's improved and how great he looks in camp. Now, obviously, how much can you prove in camp when you're not really like getting into the down and dirty with the trenches. And two, just being transparent with you guys on my thought process is who are you trusting to watch these players? Like I'm not going to need names, but I see some people out there who I don't necessarily trust their football opinions, and they're like, oh, his footwork's really good. Okay, well, what is good about his footwork? Like, what do you know? So I have some questions about who's sharing this stuff, but sorry. With that all being said, there's been some exciting tidbits out there. I believe Sabo is one of them who's been talking up Tippman a little bit. I could be wrong on that. If so, I trust Sabo. I trust his opinion. He's probably, I'll be transparent. I think probably one of the only guys at camp that I would legitimately trust their actual football knowledge and their technique knowledge. Actually, no, I'm not even saying maybe he is the only one I trust there. I'm sorry. Tippman reach. We're gonna get right into it. So 3 tech. Tippman's the right guard. Let's see what's going on here. Good reach. Good reach right off the jump. Good start to the review from Tippman here. One, you could see the lateral mobility off the snap. He moves pretty well. Really like the scooch technique here by Tippman. We talk about it all the time. Give ground to gain ground, lose ground to gain ground, however you want to say it. Again, we're talking about angles and stuff like that. The Jets are running an outside mid zone right here, and Tippman wants to get to that play side shoulder, and he wants to pin this guy inside. He wants to reach him. But in terms of angles and just, football in general, let's say that, this defensive tackle, I think it's Lawrence Guy, I could be wrong, shoots up the field, and then Tippman works to him at a direct angle. Guess what? Patriots helmet in front in the play side gap. We do not want that. So to be able to get our body in front of him, we have to lose some ground initially. Maybe get bubbled back into the backfield a half a yard, whatever it may be, to then gain that play side leverage. So we need to scoop it out a little bit right here to gain that leverage. Again, we can't take direct angles and still cut across his face, because if he pushes up the field at all, he's going to be play side leverage on us. So really good idea by Tippman right here. Scooch technique, foot lateral, not so much back, but lateral, other foot lateral, called a scooch. Technically, it's not a scooch because your feet technically go backwards, but it's the same idea. Really good hand placement, left hand into the chest, right hand into the, upper ribs, maybe lower shoulder area, and then does a good job getting low. Remember, this dude is 6'6", working off his insteps and just holding him up to the inside. Now, doesn't he create a ton of movement after the fact? No, but did he 1000% do his job on that reach block on outside zone? 100%. Can't really ask for much better than that. One, from the technique, both lower body and upper body, a little bit of drive after there, push him inside a little bit. Awesome play for Tippman to start off the review. Okay, so ricochet technique and climb. Okay, so let's watch Tippman again, the right guard, to start off this review. For the first 3 games he played, I believe he was the right guard. His first game at center, he actually struggled quite a bit. You guys will see it. He played Fletcher Cox, and he did not have the best game, but nonetheless, one movement, you could see the movement on that second level, like him accelerating to that second level. His movement skills are top notch for sure. Again, technique wise, you're talking about a rookie already using a scooch technique and now using a ricochet technique, something that some guys just don't do in general. They just, they don't have the understanding of technique. So Tippman, more of like a drop step with that left foot, works off the instep, inside shoulder to the defensive tackle, holds him up just enough. Again, just pops up that play side shoulder, allowing ABT to get in front. Pop up the play side shoulder, allowing ABT to get in front. It's all he's trying to do. Perfect, right? What else is good about this? His eyes, right? His eyes are on that first level for half a second, eyes to the second level before he even makes contact. What else is good? The he didn't overcommit to it, right? We don't want to turn our body completely into it, because if we turn our body completely into it and we're driving him and our hips are under our block, then guess what? It's gonna be harder for us to then turn and get to the second level. So really good job by Tippman right here, turning the turret, the top of the body, not the tank, the entire body. Keeping eyes on the second level, exploding, getting hands on that defender, and then just driving him back a couple of yards. Now, yeah, could we ask for a little bit more perfection on the second level? Yeah, could we ask for it? Maybe hands inside, and then he drives him and he doesn't get shed. Yeah, sure, but he holds him up enough. He slightly gets involved in the tackle, but still, you're talking about the difference of an A+ play versus an A- play. It's still a good play. Wasn't perfect on the second level. Who cares? Tippman, 2 for 1. Okay. It's an exciting review. I'm excited about his future. All these reviews, pretty much, right? Like we're talking about Tippman, JJ, Sauce, Brees. All these reviews are fun. Tippman's going to be a stud, and in his rookie year, I think he was an average-ish player. And an average-ish player in your rookie year is a hell of a player. That's a great pick. Second round pick. He's gonna be average on the offensive line in your first year. Sign me up every day. Give me him. 2 for 1, Tippman. Let's see, 66. Yeah, again, just good awareness, right? So, he has a 1 tech, a 0. It's more of a 1 than a 0, and a 3 tech, and he's in a gap protection to his right. So he's not manned up on any single guy. He's responsible for the A and the B gap, and to and get some lateral steps and cover that ground. He obviously sees both threats. He's aware of both threats. Drag hand to inside. Really like that drag hand again. And what does that drag hand do? I love perfect examples. I just love perfect examples. We talk about drag hands for multiple reasons, and you guys have been, I'm sure if you're watching this one, you've watched other reviews, maybe not, maybe it's your first time. Sometimes it's kind of hard to go over the same thing 1,000 times, but that's kind of what I do. That drag hand, two things. It allows you to feel that gap, right? Let's say if you're looking this way and my hand is out this way, if there's anything coming here, I can feel that. One, two, if I'm looking this way, and then I go to this, I look to the left, and oh shit, there's a guy there. Guess what's already there? My arm is already there. I don't then have to turn and shoot. My hand's there already. So it serves multiple purposes. Again, looking to the outside. He sees that 91 kind of steers a little bit more to the outside, more into ABT. So as soon as he does that, ice flash inside, doesn't think he's have to pick him up fully, gets his drag hand activated, but sees that McGovern is also on that block. Sees McGovern's also on that block. Eyes flash back outside. Hey, why not take on both guys? Left hand, right hand, both engaged, assisting ABT, and also allowing McGovern to just get a hand on the looper right there. Great job by Tippman. Excellent job. There will be some struggles in this review. I will be transparent, especially versus the Eagles. To my remembrance, it was his worst game, and it was a bad game. It wasn't just below average. It was a bad game, which is okay. He's a rookie. You're going to have bumps. Tippman 2 for 1 in the run game. Right guard right here. So, oh, okay. This is not in the run game. It's obviously a play action pass. So that's my mistake. I guess I just I don't I recorded and didn't even watch it through fully. But they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to be a little bit more aggressive off the line here. Because it's a play action, and if they just get into vertical sets, nobody's going to buy the play action. So he works towards the 3 tech, gets hands on the 3 tech, pretty tight hands, left hand a little bit wide, but it looks like the hands line at least into the shoulder. I'm not sure if they're inside of the defensive lineman's. Nonetheless, relatively tight, engages, stands him up. Now, with this being said, kind of another situation like last time, I'm engaged here. This guy isn't really rushing me. He's in a crowd. I see somebody kind of clearing themselves in that B gap who's unoccupied. What am I going to do here? Am I going to am I going to continue to engage the guy who's, kind of already in traffic and not in the best spot? Or am I going to engage the guy at least partially who is in that B gap? Doesn't completely abandon his man in the inside, because he's still the primary blocker on him. And yes, there is traffic, but again, he's partially responsible for him right now. But get that right hand free, get the right hand onto the defender, and then he picks him up and then passes off the initial contact, or the guy he made initial contact with. Again, it's just a really good job of passing guys off, being patient, having awareness. This is his first game in the NFL. His first game in the NFL. Tippman loses leverage, torque. There's gonna be some times where, like, whether it be on the second level, whether it be against guys who are really squatty, stocky and squatty, he's 6'6". There's gonna be times where guys get under him. He can naturally lose some battles because of his height. It's just gonna happen. Lose leverage, torque. Okay, right guard. Okay. Oh, okay. So he wins this. So, um, loses leverage. He loses a leverage battle. He's not as low as this guy. And the angle's a little bit flat. I would like to, and again, I am nitpicky, and that's why I think most of you guys are here. That's kind of the thing. So you don't want to get too flat right here, because let's say that the defensive lineman were to take a lateral step to the left right here. He is turned a little bit more than I would like him in this instance. I would like to see him attack more like half man, attack that play side shoulder or the near shoulder instead of going more full man right here. So I don't love the fact that he's crossing his face like this and then torquing him. But you could see some of the natural power he has, even for a guy who's 6'6". Like, he engages him, not in the best spot. We can clearly tell right here, are his hips fully under that block? They're not under that block. What does he have, though? He has good hand positioning. Left hand into the chest, right hand over top. And now he's going to drive through that left hand while also torquing with the right, just kind of lifting him up and then torquing him off balance. Drive with the left, torque with the right, continue to drive the feet, and now it's just a wrestling match. And he's able to, again, torque him to the ground. Right now, he's leaning heavy into Tippman because, it's a leverage battle. Tippman has a hand inside. He's trying to drive him. So the defensive lineman is clearly very low into his anchor, a little bit too low, but nonetheless, then Tippman, again, torques him to the inside, pancakes him. It's a good block. Initially, again, we can definitely clean up some of the technique there from Tippman, but still a good block. Tippman 2 for 1. And if I think I'm giving you the same information. I think I'm running through these pretty fast, but again, I'm on baby watch. There's a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna try to finish the show today. I have a problem, like, especially when I'm very close to the end of something, I gotta finish it. And now I'm gonna hit all the reviews probably in a row that are the longest to the shortest is what I'm gonna go. So you're probably gonna get Q next, and then Quincy and Sauce, I would imagine, are the 3 after this. And then we got some short ones: JJ, Brees, Conklin, and Michael Hart second. So 2 for 1 again. 66. Your right guard. What happened? Another situation where he's in a gap protection to his right. He's setting towards the 3 tech. Drag hand with the left. He obviously sees that at this point he feels that he's going to get fully engaged by Guy, but AVT ends up picking him up. So his eyes flash to the inside. He sees that there's clearly, a free linebacker in that A gap. Drops his posts. Left foot's the post foot. He drops it to become the kick foot. Left hand into the ribs. Extension. Holds him up just enough for Zach Wilson to probably, miss a throw or, do whatever he does. Bad job by the, now whether it be McGovern, who I would say McGovern, you want him to pick up that initial threat, because Carter's having to read his blocks. So don't make it cloudy for Carter right there. So not a good job by McGovern. Nonetheless, good block by Tippman. Tippman lose but recovery, which is important, right? You're obviously, whether it be your Tippman, whether it be your Tyron Smith, whether it be your Trent Williams, whoever you are, Quinn Williams, you're not always going to win every rep right off the jump. How do you adjust? How do you recover? Right guard can drag hand, runs his feet, takes on a bull rusher, but it looks like he gets initially like good hand placement. You see how his left hand is drag hand and it comes inside, then shoots from inside, and it's not going from wide to continuing to wide. He goes from wide to back to inside. Good placement with the left hand. Feels the bull rush coming, hops back into the anchor, feels the bull rush coming. Good hand placement, left into the chest, right over the top as like that clamp like we talk about all the time. Hops back a little bit, working into his anchor. and he has an uncanny ability to stay balanced sometimes in situations where typically people can't lose or or can't maintain their balance. So he's getting bullish a little bit right here. Again, his size, right here, he starts to get a little bit off kilter, but he's able to swivel his hips around. He's off kilter. So right now he's getting rushed half man. This is not a balanced spot. You need to get your full hips under that block. So what does he do? Swivel the hips around, drive off the insteps, extension, and drive them away from Zach Wilson. So is this a good spot to be in? No. Is this a great spot to end up in? Yes. Great recovery. And it's not even anything bad about him in terms of like, hey, he had awful technique here. Like, no, he did a good job getting left hand inside, right hand over the top, and just trying to hop back into his anchor. Sometimes just angles don't work out for you. And right here again, defender tacks that inside shoulder, that weak inside shoulder, but Tippman adjust to it. Again, swivel the hips, get your feet under that block, drive them, and pancake them. Tippman blitz pickup. If you hear that, by the way, it looks like my mic is picking up like the littlest, like, that's my dog, who is literally just upstairs, just playing with himself. He'll throw himself the ball. Wild. Tippman blitz pickup. Okay, right guard. Looks like a good job from me, from a rookie right guard in his first game, picking up blitzes. You know, again, he's in a gap protection to his right, slides to his right. He has the let's say he's a 4 eye tech right now, 4 eye tech, punches him, but what are his eyes doing? His eyes are active, his eyes are up, doesn't commit fully to that block, doesn't commit fully, which we don't want him to commit fully to it, right? We want to protect our A gap because we slid to our right, we're leaving an extra large A gap that I know Michael Carter can help pick up, but we don't want to leave our running back in that spot. Punch, eyes inside, sees the twist coming, drops the post, lands hands on, left hand into the chest, right hand into the ribs, the hip area, stand him up, drive him inside. Like excellent hand placement, excellent. Work off those insteps. Really good blitz pickup. Again, playing in his first NFL game. Right. So what? He didn't play the Bills game and then the Cowboys game. That was our third game, right? It was the third game. Pats at home, and we lost that too. Um, right guard. I'm impressed, man. Color me pink. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with these first 9 plays. I know it gets worse in the next game against the. I believe the next game is the Eagles. Maybe it's no. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But again, selling play action. So what he's going to do? He's going to fake the run set. He's going to be a little more aggressive off the jump. More aggressive off the jump. Oh, like a minuscule ricochet technique. Not really though. Drives off the instep. Hands on to the defensive tackle. Hands on to Chris Jones. Actually, hands on to Chris Jones. But where are his eyes the entire time? Like it's so important that he just understands that, hey, Tippman's going to pick him up just based on the blocking scheme. I'm going to assist Tippman in blocking this monster in Chris Jones. But the entire time, my hips are square to who? Are his hips square to Chris Jones on the first level, or is his square to the threat he's about to go to? His hips are square to the second level. Elite eyes, um, elite hip placement. Again, turning the upper body, not the lower body, is exactly what we talk about. He's staying on that block until what? Until the linebacker closes enough ground where he has to pick him up. He's not just going to vacate this and leave it because then let's say AVT was depending on it or AVT just got beat. And now he's leaving up a B gap. There's no reason to leave it unless the linebacker is going to try to penetrate. If that linebacker drops back in coverage, stick on the block with AVT, keep active eyes for any loopers or twists inside to your A gap. Eyes onto the second level, a little bit of hesitation from the linebacker. Oh shit. Quarterback still has the ball. Tippman comes off the block with perfect timing. Left hand inside, right hand low. I can't tell exactly where it is. It looks like there's some extension there, so it gets rubbed off. But left hand has really good hand positioning into like the lower pec, and picks up the block. Really good eyes again from Tippman. It's a really good play. Tippman, good play action. Okay, right guard. One, the short area explosion there is awesome. And again, another situation where it's the same thing as last time. Last time there's a linebacker who was delaying the blitz. You're reading the run a little bit. This time, similar thing. Again, I'm going to assist my center this time. Half man, left hand punch, right hip, or his hips are square to who? First level or second level? Get contact immediately, eyes flash to second level, hip square to his next threat. 50 shoots that B gap. Tippman peels off, gets the right hand inside, drives him outside. Drives him outside, gets extension, and the Brian Baldinger, oh, he pancaked him, he threw him on his ass. It's like, no, he tripped over ABT, but nonetheless, good extension. Obviously, he pushes him back, regardless. Um, yeah. Okay. So Tippman beat Jones hand high. Okay. So what is right hand's gonna land high? Not a good contact. We'll see. Right card. Yeah. We're talking. We need better hand placement here. So um, I don't love that he steps inside like he does. Regardless, and I'm trying to figure out why he did that exactly. And he's like a slide to the left, but that doesn't make much unless it's a slide to the left. But ABT's locked. A little bit of a weird stuff to the inside. You typically don't see like him setting away from a guy, but nonetheless, um, left step. Chris Jones closes ground. Where does the hand land? We talk about good hand placement. He's had it for this entire review so far. Hand drops. It drops a little bit. It's not the lowest punch I've ever seen, but where does it land? Outside shoulder. You have Chris Jones who works into your chest now with you with high hand placement, and you're already 6'6". Good luck. Good luck. Bull rushed, pulls himself through, rip, gets a hit on Zach Wilson. Why? One, I don't like him not having his hips under the block, so I would like to ask if I could, coaching room, whatever, like, why did you step to your left like that? Don't love it, but um, yeah. And then again, again, now he's not completely under the block. Now Jones is really just working against like the arm, even though he kind of decides to fully engage Tippman anyway, because he has good hand placement, because Tippman's hands is very high. This is, like you're trying to create force, like being like here is not a good spot, here. So high hand gets beat, Tippman climb. All right, your right guard. Yeah. It's another good play by him. Um, again, now they're running inside tight zone. He's obviously not just going to continue to work to his left. And people are like, oh, this is a duo. It's not. Well, actually, no, they're not going to say it's duo. My example was going to be, oh, they double team, duo. It's not always the case. This is zone, but because there's nothing to his left, he's not just going to work to his left. Again, 90, 50, 10 rule. 10, there's no 90, there's no 50, go to the 10. Does a good job of just assisting ABT. ABT trying to get to that play side. The play side leverage. Tippman, ricochet, works into the play side shoulder, pops it up in conjunction with obviously Chris Jones trying to shoot it backside, but nonetheless, pops it up, climb to the second level, get in front of him on the play side. Look at the gap that was created. I would like to see McGovern handle that block a little bit differently. I don't know why he's getting so flat like that. He could have held up that block a little bit better, but Tippman does a good job of trying to take that inside shoulder. Takes the inside shoulder. Again, hand placement wide on the second level. It's not necessarily like ideal, but if you can just control a guy on the second level who you weigh 60 more pounds in, you don't have to create massive lanes in the second level. Just get him to not tackle your guy. Gets in front of him, gets hands on. Michael Carter, gets tackled by 51 here, but Tippman does a hell of a job. Like really good block. Again, for a rookie. Pressure allowed on a stunt from Tippman here. Okay, your right guard. Yeah. So want to be aware of stunts. Again, he's gonna get got, in situations like this at times. and a good, good blitz. You'd like to see, Zach Wilson maybe get rid of the ball or them have some type of like hot route or whatever. But Tippman again sets to his right. The problem here is with overcommitment on that first level, right? So gets hands on Chris Jones, but what do we need to do? We need to be aware of stunts and loops and twists or stunts and twists. I don't call it anything loops. Karlaftis pushes upfield, loops inside. You have Tippman who engages, but like we said before, now he's turned both the tank and the turret. And sometimes you're going to turn the tank a little bit. You're going to have to get your hips a little bit in front of the block, but do not overcommit. He's overcommitted there. He's completely flipped to Jones. And then Karlaftis is inside without even getting a hand on him. Why? Again, overcommitment. It's much harder to swivel your hips around and drop your post than it is to just, to just shuffle inside to get lateral. So again, overcommitment, drops off half a second late and allows a pressure on Zach Wilson, which he rolls out and then hits Brees, who drops. No, that was Michael Carter, and this was like right. I don't know if this was before the half or whatever, but I remember being like, "Oh, that was a big play, man! Like, this is third down, I'm pretty sure." And Michael Carter doesn't look it in. I wouldn't mind him. Like Michael, if you tell me right now, Izzy versus Michael Carter as running back 4, give me Michael Carter. I didn't hate Michael Carter as much as other people did, but whatever. He did talk a little bit more than his play would maybe indicate that he should. But Tippman, good pass rep. Okay, right guard. His assignments, he's good here. Okay, so now you have what? The left guard, left tackle, shuffling to the left, zone here, zone to the right here. Tippman does. It's not an oversight. It's like, oh well, you let him have the inside shoulder. It's because he knows he has McGovern there. So good job, playing it like he should, getting lateral. If that guy goes inside, then guess what? Pass it off to McGovern. He knows exactly what he should do. Passes it off to McGovern, but he starts to kind of rush towards him, so he decides to get hands on because I'm not going to let this guy just work into me and get hands on me. I'm not going to get hands on him. Like win that first contact battle. Shuffle, good pass off. Oh, he's kind of working into me. Let me land first contact. Get eyes back to eyes back to the 5 tech, George Karlaftis. Hands on. I'm engaged with him, but McGovern's also on that block. He could see that Karlaftis is starting to rush through that B gap, unblocked, gets his right hand free just in case. He gets delayed a little bit because ABT's hands on him. But once he closes more ground, punch into the outer pec, then overtake the block. Left hand on the punch, right hand on the punch into the chest. Left hand comes over the top with the clamp, and it starts to work into your anchor. Really good job again. Really good job. Okay, yeah, Denver. What was after Denver? I don't know. I so much information in my head that like the little stupid shit, like what games did the Jets play in row last year? I couldn't tell you. I forget all of them. Tippman recovery, refit hands. Okay, you're right guard. But I think this is his. So he played what? New England, Kansas City, this game, and then it was the Eagles, right? Maybe right guard. Okay, so he recovers here. Again, initially sets towards a 3 tech. Sets towards a 3 tech. What do we not want? One, he's high, right? Like he's standing pretty much straight up into this. So we want some more knee bend from him. A little bit better of a base. The right hand comes from wide and low, lands wide and outside. We do not want that. But now with that, okay, his hands land inside. What am I going to do? I'm not going to just sit on that hand and just let it stay out there to dry. So he knows he made a mistake. Punch a little wide, starts to get bull rushed. What does he do? Refit the hand. Starts to get bull rushed, refit the hand into the chest. And then you could see him like really purposely like slap that right foot down on the instep and then get under it. Not in a good spot. Step later, good spot. This is a good spot. Hands on, stays attached, drives him outside. Like what a recovery. What a rejob to refit that right hand. And then stay under the block. You can see he's like very flexible. He just stays attached to a guy. Some like people aren't necessarily able to move like he moves, like how flexible he is. Exchange of direction is really good. Tippman bold hands wide. Okay, he's gonna get bold versus the 3 tech, 4-eye tech, slanted 4-eye, loose 3. Bunch of names we can start talking about. Again, especially for a guy who is, you know, what I'll know what he is, like 320, 315, whatever he is, but he's 6'6". He has to really he's not gonna be able to like hug technique guys like some other like maybe squattier guards could, like John Simpson could. John Simpson's 6'4", 330. Tippman's, whatever, 6'6", 310, 320 pounds. He's not going to be able to do some things that Simpson can do. And he's going to be able to do some things that Simpson can't do in terms of athleticism. So sets towards a 3 tech, hands wide, hug technique. Again, the base is overextended here. We don't want to be this wide. Like that right leg is pretty much straight and left leg straight. This is not a powerful position to be in. We want to have a nice knee sink. So bad base, hands are wide. He gets bull rushed, bull, jerk, and then just like almost like an ice pick. Gets the pressure on Zach Wilson. need tighter hands there for sure. Tighter hands, better base. Tippman hit allowed, hands wide. Okay, right guard. Similar deal, right? Got to fix those hands. Drag hand, we like that. Oh, what's funny here? This is partial of it. I still don't like the fact that he's coming into contact high like this. Like you see how he's leaning on his heel right that? Did he have any power in that left foot coming into contact? Like zero power in that left foot. So need to keep our feet more under us, keep a better base, more active feet. He goes to hug technique, and then watch ABT's left hand. ABT's hand goes to like check the defensive lineman, and then swats Tippman's hands down. Not an ideal spot for Tippman. But again, he came into contact not good anyway. Like this is not the spot you want to be in. Standing straight up, overextended on your left heel. Not good, hands wide. Now it's not, it's only exemplified like the poorness of this that or not exemplified. It's only multiplied by the fact that ABT swats his own guy's arm down, on accident. Tippman tries to drop the post and stay on it, which he kind of does, but you have the defensive lineman who's just going to drive because why? Because right now his hips aren't completely under the block in terms of like, his hips are working to the, vertical to the left, and you have the offensive or defensive lineman who's working straight. So his hips aren't completely under where the defender is kind of directing his force. Rips ABT or rips Tippman's arm and ends up getting the sack or the hit, sorry, on Wilson. Hands wide. Tippman splashed. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of a trend of wide hands for our rookie. Right guard. Hands are to land wide. Bull rushed. Gets a hit. Yeah, so he struggled this game a little bit too. Some good, some bad. He was better in combo block assisting type situations than one-on-one at this point. Again, sets towards the 4-eye tech. Sets to him, does a decent job with his feet in terms of like splitting him. But coming into contact, what? One is you say he's a little bit lower and his pads rise. So we have his pads rising on contact. We have him trying to hug, which NFL game, that could work at Wisconsin. It's not going to work in the NFL game, not with consistency, especially against squatty 330-pound defensive tackles who are going to bull rush you for days. He gets splashed. He allows the defensive lineman to get contact first into the chest and hands inside in general. That's a double whammy. Contact, bull, jerk, just a tiny bull, jerk, beats Tippman for another quarterback hit. So a few quarterback hits this game. Splashed, hands low. Okay, so he struggled this game too. Started off bad. I told you there was going to be some. I remember there being some bad as well. Use your right guard. Okay, so so now we're running what looks like duo with like an insert from Lazard, and he's blocking back to the 4-tech. Comes into contact. What do we say about the hands? Hands wide, hands low. Hands wide, hands low. Defensive lineman, because of the hands wide and hands low, is able to win first contact into the chest. Get some contact into the chest. Now Tippman stood up with no good hand placement. Now he's leaning with no good support. Defensive lineman just steps through, rips, defeats the elbow, and then would have been there, and I'm sure there are people like, oh, he didn't even make the tackle. Who cares? You blocked him long enough. Okay, if that's your thinking, then Jesus, dude. This is not a good block, obviously, right? But there are people who legitimately say that type of stuff. Like, oh, well, did he make the tackle? No. Shut up, idiot. It's like, oh my God. Process versus results. We like him getting in there after a little bit. Tippman, bold, but flexible recovery. Okay, actually, I have to pause it for a second. 3 plays left. Funny little backstory. Grab my water. I went to a class today, and I have to be hydrated because I've been taking creatine, and you got to drink a shit ton of water. And I couldn't find any water bottles. I couldn't find any like little things to take. So I found this. My wife bought it, and I think she thought it was a smaller, like a Yeti thing, or not a Yeti thing. I think it's actually Stanley. Look at this freaking monster. It's literally, it's massive. I think it's uh 96 ounces. 96 ounces of agua here. So I have to gotta continue to drink. I'm supposed to drink like 100 plus a day. Okay. Tip bold but flexible recovery. Okay, your right guard here. Oh, okay. So maybe Montgomery got injured midway through this game, and he went to the left or center, or this was his last game at right guard that he went to center. I apologize. I thought he played center this game. Maybe I'm mistaken, but right guard. Again, flexible. You could see the flexibility. Now, in terms of the set, what do we not want to see again? So this is clearly a problem. I think throughout the season he does end up working on it a little bit and it gets better. Don't want our hands being on guard and then dropping to low. What's the point of having our hands on guard? The point of having your hands on guard is so they're ready to punch. We don't want to be ready to punch, not ready to punch, to then punch. It just doesn't make much sense. So, but guys do tend to have that reaction at times when guys are rushing them. So good job in terms of like setting, the base is better. Tries to like almost like hop back into an anchor, anticipating contact. But with that being said, hands wide, doesn't get good contact. Fletcher Cox, club. Well, it's a club, but the good thing about it is he clubs them, and Tippman does a really good job of keeping that left hand attached, which allows him to, just like a corner, like we talk about, like slingshot himself back inside. Slingshot yourself back inside. That undoubtedly helped his hips swivel. But this is not a typical position for offensive lineman to be in. For as tall as he is and be able to stay attached and then get back to the inside, not an easy spot. And again, not the best rep. Like he let the defender get onto Wilson's toes and get the hit. Not a great play, but a good recovery that shows off again some flexibility, recovery, and flexibility. Did I already say that? Tippman beat again, ... So I'm starting to get frustrated at this point in review. Like, hey, he's getting beat quite a bit. He had a bad 2-game section here. Right guard. I'm assuming hands wide. You gotta learn, right? He's learning. Left drag hand, good job splitting, a little bit better of a base this time. But with that being said, one little bit straight up or straight up into contact. There's really not much, if any, knee bend. So obviously there's a tiny bit. We can see the knees bent the tiniest bit, but still not great. And then you add on to the fact that your hands are wide, you're already tall, and you got your base is a little bit not great, then not a good play. Club and Tippman, because of lack of hand placement and being high, gets clearly affected by the club. Beat inside. Zach Wilson gets rid of the ball, thankfully, but not a good play by Tippman. Getting beat up again. Tippman, good eyes. Okay. Good eyes. Now he's your center. Okay, so he had a few bad plays versus the Eagles, but no good ones. So, and again, how do I differentiate good play, bad play? I don't know. I just do. If it's exceptionally bad or exceptionally good, I put it up. Like, I don't want to just put up a bunch of average plays because they play. I think the average game is like 130 snaps. Maybe it's more now, maybe it's less, but I think the last book is like 130. So let's say 65 times 17, whatever. Like, that's a lot of reps. And I'm not reviewing 1,000 reps. Literally like 1,000 reps, you know? So pause a second. Dog is ringing the doorbell, of course. I didn't mean to say doorbell. I meant to say his training bells that he rings on the back door to go pee. If my baby was sleeping and my dog rang my doorbell, that would be something that I would be maybe giving my dog away. Can you imagine? Put your kid to bed and your dog starts ringing your doorbell, goes outside and starts hitting it. Not ideal, but I am on a little bit of dad duty right now, so he is actually doing reverse crunches right now. So we'll see what happens. Tippman, good eyes. He is your center. Yeah, good job. Good job not reaching for engagement here, right? You don't know if he's like looping or kind of like delaying to the inside right there to distract you, whatever it may be. But shuffles to his left hand, left drag hand just to feel any other pressure. Any other pressure. Eyes are obviously onto that second level. Second level defender starts to loop. What do you think is going to come from the right side? There's nothing from the left. The guy's looping. There's probably a picker coming. Drops the post, hand inside on the penetrator, right hand into the chest, and then get under your block, sink into your anchor. Sink into the anchor, ball gets off. Really good job. Again, set to him, not reach for engagement. Something's going on. Oh crap, he's looping to the inside of me. What's most likely coming? A pick. Drop the post, get the hands on the pick, get under the block, get into the anchor. Great play. Next, I'm most likely going to have to pause it based on the sounds you're hearing. And then I'm hearing as well. Yeah, son of a bitch. Babies. All right. I'll pause it. I'll be back later, which for you guys is a second. For me, it's probably gonna be like 3 hours. All right. Tippment, patient, feet, and torque. How many hours later is this? You'll never know. Only I'll know. You're now we're looking at Tippman starting this game as your starting center. Okay. Patient feet. Now, why am I talking about that? Obviously, he knows that the just based on the set, they're running tight zone split. He knows that Mitchell is going to come and assist him and pop this defender to the outside. So Tippman does a good job of just patient feet, takes that drop step just to anchor down just in case. Hands land in a good spot, left and right hand into the chest. Left and right hand into the chest. Max Mitchell pops that near hip. Tippman runs his feet, runs that defender to the outside while torquing him over top with that right hand. And clearly, creates plenty of movement on that defensive tackle. Tippman beat inactive feet at end. I actually think watching it the first time, it's a little bit of inactivity in the beginning. Not the easiest spot for Tippman here, which we'll explain. But here we go. Obviously it's a little bit hard for centers with a nose tackle, heads up on them because when they snap that ball, just naturally, not naturally, your hand is low and it's between your legs, and they obviously get the jump on shooting the hands first on you, so it's a tough spot, specifically with that snap hand to get that hand inside or really with good timing, but Tippman here, snaps the ball. Actually, he does a decent job with the left foot getting into a little bit of an anchor off the instep. Left hand lands inside of the of the nose tackle, and the right hand lands over top, like with that clamp, with that half moon punch that we always talk about. So he actually has pretty good positioning with his hands right off the jump. Snap left hand into the lower pec most likely, but inside will take that. Not the worst leverage. Right hand like clamping over the top. Not bad. The problem comes with Tippman's feet and closing ground with like the hips. So again, not bad hand placement right here. But what we want to see and what we talk about all the time with offensive linemen is I want to see him close that ground, tip to tip, as I like to say. Because once we start kind of reaching for contact and not closing ground with our feet, obviously there's a gap. And when there's that gap, it kind of favors the defensive lineman because it gives them more room to operate laterally. Whereas if Tippman got his hands on and then closed that ground and really tried to do his absolute best to cinch him up and basically pull his hips um into the nose tackle's hips, that he's a lot more tight. And when he's a lot more tight like this, there's not this gap right here, and he doesn't start to lean. And when he starts to lean in that gap again, then there's that window where the defensive lineman can throw him by him, and then obviously start working to the the opposite way. So would like to see him again close ground a little bit better here instead of getting a little bit high and leaning, because then he gets obviously off balance and then gets clubbed, lets it hit on Zach Wilson. Obviously not ideal. But next, Tippman tight flipper, take we're going. Okay, with the center. So this is something that I explained. I forget how I explained it the first time I did this review, or at least this play. But we have inside zone, tight zone split right here, and Tippman. So you have the difference between like tight flipper and like a loose flipper. Tight flipper is your hand, like your backside hand is just going to be a little bit more tight, and if that defensive lineman comes tight to your inside shoulder for Tippman on this case, to the left shoulder, that hand will catch him, and then he'll ride him out away from the play side. Now, if it's like a looser flipper, it's basically just going to cover more ground. So you have tighter, which if he goes very lateral around it, he's going to let him go, because obviously if he's going to jump all the way away from the play side, then it doesn't matter. If it's a looser flipper, again, he'll grab him a little bit farther away. Here it's tight. We could see him again go to the play side, and he can get flat right here. That's fine, because again, if he works opposite of the design play, then he's taking himself out of the play, regardless. So that backside hand catches him into the chest, right hand into the hips, and drives him away from the play. It's a really good job by Tippman, who's going for that scooch technique. Right foot back and lateral, other foot lateral, but we're going to call it a scooch. Again, nice tight flipper, gets it into the chest, swivels around it, drives him to the inside, and creates a gap for Dalvin Cook, who, if he stayed a little bit tighter, to Tippman and just ran off his hips, he might have actually picked up a good chunk here. But definitely a good job by Tippman with that. And again, it depends. It's like tight flipper versus loose flipper. It really depends on the play. Like outside zone, you'll see a lot, and it depends on if you're the play side tackle, guard, center. So it's not like a catch-all rule, but you'll see the looser flippers for plays like inside zone, stuff like that, and or yeah, for inside zone, stuff like that, because obviously, let's say if you're, let's say, the guard, and the aiming point is the B gap, and he's going to shoot that backside shoulder, he could still affect that play. If he shoots that to the backside shoulder and you're not able to catch him. Whereas if it's like, let's say, a outside zone, if he shoots a backside gap and you're the center, then you'll keep it a little bit more tight, because if he shoots the backside gap and you're the center, the aiming point's like basically the hip of the tackle, then who cares? I know I explained that better the first time, but nonetheless, it's basically what it's about. All right. Scooch, tight hands, refit. Okay. Your center. Good job. Again, scooch technique, lateral step, but backwards, lateral and backwards, front foot, slightly backwards, but lateral. Good idea. Again, now with a guy who's a zero tech, like, you don't always have to necessarily scooch him. I typically talk about scooches when a guy is, let's say one tech or a loose one or a 2i. Obviously, if you're a 2i, you're gonna have to scooch. Probably not gonna scooch and like bucket step and get around them, but with in a situation like this, it's okay to use it. It's more conservative and it's smart, because if he's going to shoot to this play side shoulder, scoop him out. Use that scooch technique. That's completely fine. You can use it for guys who are heads up, zero tech versus center. as well. And we could see that he does a really good job here getting that play side. Now the play obviously doesn't work out for other reasons. We're not recapping the entire offensive line. We're just doing Tippman. So for Tippman's job individually, good job getting off the ball. Good job getting lateral. Left hand lands inside. Right hand lands into the outside of the elbow of the defensive lineman, which is not ideal. But again, tough spot when you have your right leg, snapping the ball, and then trying to come up there. So you can't really blame him too much for the right hand. What I love about the right hand though is that it slips wide, and look at him automatically refit it, right? There is no delay there. It's not, oh, I'm just gonna ride that hand out, because right now he needs to do his absolute best to win that play side. And that right hand, this right hand onto the inside shoulder is not going to do anything for him to get play side. So he needs to ideally get that right hand into the chest, get that left hand over the top, drive him drive him inside with the left hand, and then drive him vertically with the right. So some of this action. Again, I like the fact that he refits that hand. Good scooch technique. Left hand lands, not in an ideal spot. Get around it. Nice tight elbow into the chest, and then work the hips up the field. Work the hips up the field. Talk about it all the time. It's a great play. Refit. And we can see like he's basically shuffling, but he's trying to get in front of him this way. Because right now, if he just shuffles laterally, obviously he's gonna cross his face. And if he just shoots straight vertical, then it's gonna be hard to basically stay with him. You have to string it out a little bit more than that. Good awareness, pass rep, patient. Okay. Center, they're sugaring the A gap, the linebackers. Yeah, good play by Tippman. So obviously you have a situation where Becton's locked. He's locked versus Bosa right here. You have Michael Carter filling in that B gap, and then you have the slide of the offensive line, or the gap protection offensive line, from left guard to right tackle. So they're all in zone basically, and they're all going to shuffle to their right and pass off threats, just like you kind of would in a zone running play. So Tippman shuffles to his right, drag hand out, just trying to feel that A gap. Now, obviously, the linebacker closes some ground to him, so his drag hand gets removed from that A gap, shoots into the linebacker, but he feels that linebacker is obviously not fully engaging, right? That linebacker is getting lateral. He doesn't know necessarily what's happening, but he knows he's not fully engaging with him, so he's not just going to stick on that, because he doesn't want to obviously get dragged away from that B gap, right? So it's a good job of, again, drag hand, get it into the chest. Okay, he's not engaging me fully. Let me get my eyes to the inside. Gets his eyes to the inside, but is really patient to not necessarily leave the linebacker either. Like, he doesn't just jump there, right? So it's really good patience for a rookie center to, again, leave that hand out there initially, not fully engage, and then even when he's not fully engaging, not just jumping to the B gap when he sees a guy kind of knifing into that B gap. So it's really good patience and kind of multiple facets here from Tippman. Now, obviously, at a certain point, he sees that he's about to get picked. So he has to remove himself from the linebacker now, right? Lands his hand into the chest, left hand into the outer shoulder, refits it, hand lands wide, refit it, and just hold up enough for Zach Wilson to get rid of the ball. And obviously it's an incompletion because it's Zach Wilson and whatever else. But nonetheless, really good play by Tippman. Again, really like the drag hand. I really like the activation of the drag hand, but not fully engaging, keeping his eyes to the outside while still engaged, and then picking it up. That's a really nice play by Tippman in terms of patience and awareness, especially for a rookie. That's definitely impressive. Combo hand placement. Something else, by the way, we should be watching out for this review, and I'll try to point out a little bit more because I kind of forgot about it. And sometimes when you're running through plays, you're trying to look at techniques and stuff, you can miss the easiest stuff. And the easiest stuff being his snap placement. He needs to work on that still. His balls were erratic this year in terms of their placement. High left, high right, down left, down right. So he has to work on that. But Tippman, good combo hand placement. Okay. Yeah. Now Brees Hall, obviously he cuts it back because he sees that linebacker fill really quickly. But Tippman does a good job with Lake and Tomlinson here on the combo. Nice patience off the snap, not racing towards him. Left hand into the shoulder, right hand into the upper ribs. Again, ideally we do want that low, but it lands maybe a couple of inches too high. It's hard to determine exactly, but it looks like it is into the upper to mid ribs. Um, Obviously now gets nice and low, drives them, drives the defensive lineman, creating movement outside, eyes onto the second level, peels off with good timing, left hand into the chest, right hand into the shoulder, and pops him outside too. It's a really good job by Tippman there as well. Getting coming off the ball, landing good hand placement, driving him to the outside, keeping eyes on the second level, peeling off with good timing, getting really good hand placement on the second level. Good job. Tippman, low hands and shed. Okay, your center. All right. So we talk about a lot here. Obviously they're running counter, or actually, no, they're actually running power. They're actually running power here, and Tippman's blocking back to the three tech. Now, what do we talk about all the time in terms of blocking back and guarding the play side? He needs to get vertical here and outside. We cannot just get flat, because if he shoots this gap right here, if he just shoots it, then hopefully you most likely get a hand on, and then just drive him vertically and out of the play. The thing he's going to do that's going to affect the play the most is crossing your face and getting immediately to the play side. If he gets vertical, let him get vertical and just run him vertically. But we have to guard against him getting over the top of us. Over top of us hurts the play. Underneath of us doesn't necessarily hurt the play, as long as we can slightly attach ourselves and drive. So Tipping gets really flat, hips opened. Now you have a situation where if he doesn't land his hands cleanly and get lateral slashing vertically here with his hips, the play side's not going to be covered. So he doesn't put himself in a good spot. He basically wants to take his, again, and lack of better term, his center point, let's say, his crotch, the midpoint of his crotch, and put it on his midpoint of his hip. So midpoint of your body onto midpoint of his hips. And again, if he shoots it, then obviously you get a little bit lateral and just run him vertically. Cannot get too flat here. Gets too flat, again, not hip to or not tip to hip. He's tip to tip. Can't have that. And again, I'm using some like terminology like that because I think it makes it easier to kind of know, like, we know what I'm talking about here. So I think it just makes it easier to kind of remember for some people. But yeah, need to get much more vertically here. I'm not even necessarily saying off the snap. Like he could take like that drop step right there, and then off of that instep, shoot a little bit vertically and get in front of him. Too flat, face crossed. Defensive lineman just clubs him, arm over, and is now on the play side and makes a tackle. Right? Don't want that. Not the best play. Um, Launch on screen. Okay. Your center engages initially, gets out. Oh, sorry, it's on a screen. It's an end around. Launch on end around. So somebody's already engaged right here. So he's just looking for the first thing that's presenting itself, the first thing that's going to cross his face. You have Alan Lazard who's engaged right there. The secondary player comes into contact with Tippman, clearly off balance, right? He's trying to get off of Lazard's block. This is how Tippman meets him. He's completely off balance. Tippman lands good hand placement, left hand into the shoulder, upper pec, right hand into the rib cage, and launches him. Now, again, was he helped by the secondary player being in terrible position to take on Tippman's force? Or sorry, it's a linebacker. Yeah, for sure. But hey, he still launched a guy. I like seeing guys get launched, so we're gonna talk about it. Um, Good eyes awareness. Um, okay, your center. Yeah, he's in like a very natural feel for the game at times. And here's another example. So off the snap, he works to his left here. Again, drag hand activated. Which is, and it actually almost becomes more of an overlap technique. I don't know if he's trying to overlap here, and then Tomlinson just moves because you typically don't see drag hands to the side you're setting towards because you know it's there. So it could have been a thing where he was just overlapping, but like Tomlinson got a little bit more lateral than he thought. So that's probably what it is. But right off the jump, obviously is going to pick up the one tech who starts to work towards him. But when the one tech starts to work towards him, Tippman feels the delay from the defensive lineman. He feels that he's not fully running into him. Like you see how the defensive lineman kind of steps up and out of the stance. He's very high and not really closing ground. Typically as quickly as a defensive lineman would if he was trying to shoot that A gap. So Tippman feels that, comes off the snap, feels the delay, lands his hands on, and then he starts to look for other threats. Where else are guys coming from? He obviously knows Laken Tomlinson is there to pick this up in the A gap if he needs to be, but he just keeps his eyes active, engages, eyes flash to the right, sees the defensive lineman creating some movement on I don't know if it's Herman or whoever 63 is, but creating movement on 63, gets his hand on him, thinks now he doesn't. I don't think he thinks 63 completely or ate the turf monster. Watches left foot turf monstered. I don't think Tippman expected that, so he kind of peels off of that and tries to get back outside to help. But again, I like the awareness. Setting to his left. Okay, something's going on here. He's delaying. Where else is the threat coming from? Potentially the left, or potentially the right. Looks to the right. Gets hands on. All right, I'm trying to get to the portion where sorry, some of the plays that I already did before, I could just get a little bit for me. I already did it, so it's like I'm like annoyed that I already did it. And now I'm just trying to get to the plays that I didn't do. I think I did like 20 plays, so I'm gonna apologize for plays like 24 through like 42 here, or something like that, because it's just annoying to do the same stuff. Because like you evaluate the first time, you really talk about all your points and stuff, but second time, ugh. I think I'm not doing great, but nonetheless, Tippman good leverage, strike refit. We all have those days. I'm talking to the subscribers now. Tippman good leverage, strike refit. Okay, your center. Again, they're sugaring that A gap. A lot of pressure in that A gap from him. Now, you have gap protection to his left, so he's sliding to his left. Snaps the ball, gets lateral. Good hand placement. Good. So look at the leverage here. Again, remember that he's 6'6". It's a really good job keeping our pad level lower here by Tippman. Initially gets his hand out there. Okay, starting to get rushed, pulls the hand away, doesn't want to leave the hand out there dry. Fine. Comes into contact really, really low. Nice tight punch, right? It's not looping, it's not anything. Nice tight punch into the chest. Really good leverage, working off of that instep and just drives him to the outside. It's a good spot to be in. I now again, if I'm being super, super, super nitpicky, we could say we want that maybe a little bit more lateral here, like a little bit more in front of it, just so he's not just working a little bit less with his arms. But he has such good hand placement in front of him right there that he drives him away. It doesn't matter. Like and that's very. I'm being transparent. That's very nitpicky, very nitpicky. This is 99% perfect from Tippman. 99 out of 100. This is a really good play. Nice tight elbow angle, left hand in a great spot. We can see he's gripping. Right hand most likely into the hip. Work through your insteps, drive through the insteps, drive him completely outside. Awesome. I like that play. Combo. Oh yeah, I remember saying like double ricochet. Like a ricochet technique is not technically two, but it's like a double. So he's just gonna drop with that right foot, work off of the instep, and then work towards him. Ricochet, you're seeing like again drop off in and then get into him. But like this time he kind of like double taps it. So I call it a double ricochet. It's not. I don't think that's an actual technique. We could label it that if we want. People make up their own stuff for a lot of things. So I guess I can start calling this a double ricochet. But it's just a really nice patient play by Tippman. It's a good climb. Again, drops it like he's going to a ricochet. And then typically you're going to see right foot left a little bit more towards and on him, and then contact. But it's just double. He does it double. So if he let's just pretend he snapped the ball now. Drop the foot, ricochet technique, but he does it twice. 1, 2. Um, Good hand placement, left hand into the chest, right hand into the hip, eyes onto the second level, square to the second level. So it's a really good job by Tippman. Again, staying, patient on that first level, getting good hand placement, um, popping up that place or that near shoulder, eyes onto the second level, creating some movement on the first level, peeling off, getting hands on the linebacker. Okay. Double ricochet, creates that movement. You can see him lift them. He's doing more of it than Tomlinson because Tomlinson, we could just tell he's not creating a lot of movement because based on his technique. So Tippman creates a lot of that pop, allowing Tomlinson to stay on the block. Again, eyes into the second level, peels off, great timing, picks up that second blocker or the second defender. Tippman combo. Okay, center. Now, I remember watching this too the first time and being like a little bit interesting because they're run blocking like it's an actual run play. But in terms of what we're reading here, what is he reading on the play? Is he reading that linebacker? If that linebacker drops, that's when he's throwing it. Maybe that's most likely what they're reading because typically it's just a little bit odd in terms of the RPO. I don't feel like I'm not going to go over it again. But for Tippman, in terms of the run, let's just say he is run blocking. One, snap is bad, right? That's a bad snap by Tippman. Two, another ricochet, kind of almost like no double ricochet. Drop step, works into the defensive lineman. Solid hand placement, left hand into the shoulder, right hand into the hip, completely square to the second level, to a second level threat. Again, not turning lower body into him. If he turns lower body into him, obviously this hip is more on, or the right leg is turned into him and then on the defender, which makes it harder to obviously swivel and get around to the defender if he shoots the A gap, right? So it's a good job, staying square to a second threat, turning the upper body, not the lower body, so we can get to the second level quicker. 6 on the block on the first level for just a second. Linebacker shoots quickly, peels off, gets hands on. Now, unfortunately, he trips right here. There's incidental contact. But let's say this was a run. He popped him up and he drives him outside, and there's a gap there. Again, unfortunately, there's a trip and it's a pass. So you can't really see what would have happened, but it's a good play by Tippman in terms of the ricochet technique, in terms of the hand placement, eyes into the second level, explosion to get out there. All good. Tippman, tight flipper. Warren Mitchell, LOL. All right. Um, let's watch. Yeah. So we have inside zone. Inside zone again. He shoots the gap backside. Obviously, you have some movement here. Defensive linemen, they're both shooting to the right, so that was by design. By design. Tippman snaps the ball. Nice tight elbow angle into the defensive lineman. Again, zone steps. Okay, he's going to shoot the backside. Fine. Let him shoot the backside because he's going away from the play side, right? But with that being said, he doesn't want to let him just penetrate right here because it's a tighter angle. So if it's a tighter angle and he gets vertical, guess what? You're gonna have some disruption. So he does want to catch him right here. Keep that arm nice and tight. Landed into the chest. Landed into the chest. Swivel around it. Right hand into the ribs most likely, and just drive him to the play side. Now he spins off of it. That's fine because if let's say if Mitchell wasn't terrible and could hold his block for more than a quarter of a second, then look at the gap right there. Why? Because obviously defensive lineman assisted Tippman a little bit, but let's just imagine he wasn't there. Huge run, huge run. Tippman does a hell of a job. Again, that lateral. Oh, he shot it. He shot across his face. He's supposed to get more on him. Again, depending on the situation. This is not a down block. If the run was going here and there's a down block, then yeah, we want him to get more vertical than outside. But because it's a zone play, if he shoots away from it, then good. He's shooting away from the design gap. That's fine. Again, tight elbow, left hand into the chest, right hand into the ribs, back area. Drive him. What does Warren do, or what does Mitchell do? Not Warren. Way too flat. I'm not gonna go over it. I already did a breakdown, or I didn't do a breakdown of him, but he's not good. Way too flat. Gets his face crossed. You have Warren who huge left step, ducks his head. He gets whacked. Like, look at this. Carter Warren's guy, Max Mitchell's guy. You're talking about like once the running back took literally one step with the ball, and they're both beat like that. Just terrible. Uh, Tippman combo explosive. Okay, center. He's a center for us this review. If I'm not mistaken, I'm 95% sure I'm not mistaken there that he's going to stay as the center for the rest of the season. So another combo block here, tight zone. Tippman works through and obviously we have the right guard here who steps down because he's got again 90 50 10 rule with like these zones. It's not that's not always going to happen the 90 to 50 10 rule, but we can apply it here. You pick up a guy if he's here 90%, 50% responsible, 10% responsible because again there's nothing out here over top of him. He's going to step down. So he steps down the combo block. Tippman gets hands on. They're obviously isolating this um the backer with these two guys. So we get combo to him, just based on how the linebackers are and the defensive linemen. Oh, actually, this is one of those ones where you couldn't tell if it was just based on the play. It's you can't really tell if it was the actual call was duo or inside zone. Um, you know, there's some like backside rules with like hinging and stuff, but they're comboing to the backside backer. I'm not going to get into a whole thing versus inside zone versus duo because that'll take me forever because they can look so freaking similar at times. It's ridiculous. But Tippett does a good job splitting the defensive lineman hands on. But again, completely square to his now he's not even square to the second level. He's completely square to his threat. You know, ricochet, not a ricochet, almost like another double ricochet. Left drop, instep towards him. It works the same. Power stepping to the inside, ricocheting, and gets good hand placement. Eyes into the second level, sees that the linebacker is shooting quickly, peels off of the block with good timing, hand into the chest, drive him to the outside, or drive him vertically away from the play. Yeah, like just based on alignment too, because like he's got the 90. I'm just thinking about it again. He's got the 90, 50, 10 too. So he's gonna step down. He's gonna kick out. It just look it's nearly identical. Like there might be something on the backside I'm missing. Sometimes I forget sometimes the rules. Um, because if it was like a zone, you'd probably have him stepped here to this and just leave him backside. But I don't know the rules in terms of how tight it is. There's a bunch of different things I can get into in terms of like running the run schemes and all that shit sometimes. But it's a good job by Tippman. Sorry, I didn't even mean to get into all of that and kind of talk it out to myself. But here we are. Uh, Tippman, two plays, same drive. All right, center. Yeah. All right. Um, I think this might be actually be the point where I don't remember breaking down this play. So this might be the point where I stopped last time. So maybe I was wrong about 20 plays. But Tippman, obviously we have a screen here to haul. And I want to see Tippman just be more control here. Just know where the point where Brees Hall's most likely going to catch this ball is more, more inside. So if the linebacker is going to attempt to get to the ball quickly here, he's going to try to like, disrupt the catch point right here. Tippman just has to be a little bit more patient. There's no need to overrun this and get so flat and get on his toes like he is. Just want to see him get hands on. Open field on his toes, high, really really flat. You can kind of see the linebacker already starting to gear down. You see the linebacker start to he throws at that right foot and drops his weight a little bit, and Tippman just continues to get lateral, face crossed, club arm over, tackle. Want to see Tippman be more patient there, right? Don't want to just completely overrun that. That's a pretty bad job. Definitely stay more patient for sure. And then next play, actually it's not. It's actually, oh sorry. Next play, again, he's in gap protection. Well, one that should be offsides. So I'm assuming they threw the flag, like encroachment. Um, but sets to his left, drag hand, engages, engages, rip, sends him a little off balance. It's really it's this is not so bad, right? Because he gets a little bit maybe a little bit more flat than you'd want him to, just a little bit more flat. You know, we could see that he's coming in with like a huge like swinging rip here, like a really powerful rip. So want to see him engage with his like body a little bit more under him. He gets a little bit flat and then engages with a little bit more arms without the waist under him, but it's okay. Gets hands on, gets ripped, which obviously lifts up that elbow, which naturally lifts up his leverage. But he keeps that hand attached and just drives him to the ground. Not a bad play by Tippman. That second one, I would say ideal in terms of like leverage and losing balance like that. He could have engaged initially a little bit better with his hips under him, but it was fine. It was fine. Tippman combo. All right, your center. Yeah, he moves well. Um, Now, obviously, you know, we have like mid outside zone right here. And what they're going to try to do, or what Tippman's going to try to do, is pop up this play side shoulder. Lakin Tomlinson's going to scoop that block out, and then he's going to climb to the second level. But obviously, he has to do it quick enough where he can get to the second level, right? Like he doesn't want to hang on to that first level for very long at all, because then the linebacker's gonna be able to cross his face without getting contact. If you get contact, it's okay on the first level. So snaps the ball, zone step, left hand into the chest, right hand into the hip, eyes onto the second level. Again, doesn't stay on that block for long because the linebacker immediately gets horizontal because it's more of a again mid outside zone. It's a more outside angle, so the linebacker is obviously going to respond accordingly. Obviously with a wider outside angle as well. So Tippman does a good job off the snap. Again, getting hands on, eyes into the second level, peels off, runs down the linebacker, gets the left hand into the chest, the right hand into the hip, and the linebacker is working really hard to get vertical or get horizontal. So Tippman's just gonna take him there. You want to get hands on, and like ideally, I guess technically, do we get on that on the play side shoulder? Yes, but it's nearly impossible to peel off of that first level like that and get there with the linebacker getting so lateral because if we'd rather him stick on that first level and keep him at bay um than have him shoot that B gap, right? Like that could be the thing that's going to be the most detrimental to the play is him crossing Lakin Tomlinson's face because he didn't stick on the block at all and disrupting versus the linebacker, which is going to be like more of a secondary read, shooting the gap or being on the play side. That one's a little bit harder to explain. I feel like I'm a little bit cloudy right now, like explaining things. So again, a little bit I don't know, weird. Feeling weird with this one. But let's just say he were to get lateral, he shoots the gap, we're screwed. Stick on a little bit more. If he crosses your face, okay. Well, hopefully, at that point the run back can see it and we'll cut back if he is reading that linebacker, if it even gets to that point, right? Can't have him shooting, so you're gonna stick to it a little bit longer. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Him getting to that play side's okay. All right, next, move it on. Pancake. Yeah, stay engaged, man. I like this. I like this one. So, uh, we have a mid outside zone here, and ideally, what would happen? I'm assuming in terms of their scheme here would be that they combo this. Tippman, pops up the play side shoulder. He scoops it out. He climbs to the second level. That's most likely what the design is. But that defensive lineman he immediately gets lateral and tries to shoot across his face. So at this point, there's no way that Tomlinson's going to overtake this block. There's just no way, right? So Tomlinson's then have to do his best job from a less than ideal spot, to be honest, for Tomlinson to cut off that linebacker. Again, the plan was to pop it up, scoop it out, Tippman linebacker, but with this happening, Tippman or Tomlinson's in a tough spot, just has to get there. Um, but for Tippman, comes off the ball again, zone step, hand inside or left hand shoots to the inside, right hand to the inside as well, which I think probably go to the outside shoulder, but just lands to the inside because the defensive lineman hand goes wide as well. Um, Now he has both hands inside with the defensive lineman who try to get, very lateral. He tried to get very lateral, so it allowed Tippman again to get hands inside. Now his hands are inside, and he's just going to drive him vertically. Right? Again, at this point, he's not getting to the second level. This is your guy. Take him. Hands on, drive him, drive him, drive him. Defensive lineman tries to work off that instep and torque him to the ground, but Tippman does a good job of staying attached and pancaking him. This is what you want to see. It's a good job. Good adjustment. There's knowing your assignment. Hey, I'm fully engaged with them. There's no way Tomlinson's going to pick that up again. Good feel. Tippman tossed happens naturally high, hard to recover. All right, your center. Yeah, this is a tough spot. So they're running what looks like you have like mid outside zone. So he tries to use the scooch technique, back and lateral, just slightly back and lateral. I would advise getting a little more depth in that step, not depth in that step, but more lateral in that step because there's some dead time here where that foot raises up and doesn't really cover ground. So then he's not in front of it. I don't love that play side step right there. With the lack of ground it covers. I want to see more cover more ground with that step, but snaps the ball, tries to get lateral. Defensive lineman shoots, immediately into the chest. So he gets splashed here, which again, it's hard to prevent when now you have a combination of your hand shooting between your legs, snapping the ball, and in combination you're trying to get lateral. It's a hard spot for the center to be in, but it's going to happen as a center. Like I said, happens naturally hard or naturally high, and it's hard to recover, especially now that you're trying to get lateral. Again, you're snapping the ball. Defensive lineman's aggressive off the snap, lands his hands into your chest, stands you up. Tippman's going to, he's going to try to do his best now to just get hands on and drive him. Um, Problem here is with Tippman is his chest is getting controlled. Chest is getting controlled extension, so he's not going to be able to sink and grab the defensive lineman, kind of steer him. So he loses his snap off the jump, and again, sometimes it just happened based on alignment and what they're asking you to do. So my thinking here is like it's looking like a mid zone. I don't love that they're putting Tippman in a spot right here versus a loose one. With Schweitzer right here, in terms of like a mid zone here. And even if it is like I don't love the call. I just I have a few questions here about the scheme here. If it is outside one, why are we doing that with this guy so far wide? Like, can't we check to mid or inside zone? And if we did that, then you'd have the ace combo block here. They would combo and get to this linebacker. So I don't know why we have Schweitzer running to the outside right here. What is he going to do on that second level, or what is he going to do in that first level to that guy that's wide? I don't understand why Schweitzer is doing this now. I don't know if that's offensive line or specifically Schweitzer. I don't know if that's him just messing that up or if that's a situation where the Jets need to scheme it better in their run scheme because this does not make sense. I don't like this scheme in terms of their zone rules or even the call here again, depending on exactly what it is. The aiming point looks like it's supposed to be mid zone, but I don't know why he's chasing him. Help Tippman. Tippman's in a really tough spot versus a loose one who's gonna be aggressive and shooting your chest. It's gonna be nearly impossible to get his hand up. Now, could he have like tried to? No, I was gonna say he couldn't try to refit the left. I didn't see it because of the camera. He tries to refit the left, but by the time he does that, as he's trying to do that and get good power into that left, he's getting lateral. So it's hard. It's really this is a tough spot for Tippman based on scheme or performance. That's not an easy play for him. I'm not gonna kill him on that one. Tippman process 3. All right, your center. setting to his right, drag hand, drag hand comes up. Obviously, linebacker doesn't engage with it. Tippman leaves the drag hand out there until he goes to engage with the defensive tackle who knifes to the A gap, gets hands on. But again, another situation where, like a couple plays ago, he feels himself like not, or he feels the defensive lineman not fully engaging and lagging a little bit. And typically, when you have a guy lagging like that, what he's looking to do is loop. Tippman feels that out. Eyes snap to the left, removes the left hand off the defensive lineman to get hands on the defensive lineman who's crashing inside. It's a good job processing. He cannot hang on that linebacker because he has responsibility to the right, right? Has responsibility to the right. So it looks like you have a it looks like you have a I forget sometimes two jet versus three jet. You know, the only difference is where the way the center goes. I think two jets center going left, so I think three jets right. So you have three jet and then he's gonna block inside out in that A gap. So he knows that if he's gonna shoot this gap, we have Brees Hall there to take it. So it's a good job throwing the drag hand out there, but knowing your responsibility again. Because if he were to lag on this and pick this up, then guess what? He's not getting depth. He gets crashed into here, or potentially, and the whole play is jacked up. Let's say if that was the goal, was to delay him. Obviously, we have more going on here than that, but just at the root of it. So good job, drag hand, knowing your responsibility. Get your eyes to the right. See that guy coming. Get depth. Pick that up. Feel him lagging. Okay, something else is coming. Something else is coming. Remove that left hand. Get hands on. Pick it up. Good job. Processes three guys quickly. Tippman cover only with arms. Okay, this is not going to be a good one. Center. Yeah, that's Calais Campbell, who he's going to be seeing, this season. Kind of like I said with that other step here, we need to get lateral here because why? He gets depth with that step. The problem is that now we have a situation where we're just look at the body mechanics. If I have a guy right here to my right and I'm trying to block him and I'm dropping back and I'm blocking him like this, is that better than me being here? I'm more under myself, right? That's all that is. Get more lateral. Get more lateral, split that crotch. We don't want to drop right there and then cover that gap with only our arms. Get in front of it. He's a slanted one. Quick club arm over. He's beat immediately. But we need to cover. We need to get in front of that block with this foot. Right. We're not worried about the left right side right here. Get in front of this. Don't get depth. Get lateral. Got to be a little bit more. You want both. You want depth and lateral here, but we definitely do not want this. That is for sure. Okay. Um, 20 plays left. 20 plays left. I'm gonna upload this one. I'm gonna attempt to get some sleep in. Not a forgiving night. Then I'm gonna record Q, I think, later. We'll see. Um, but I was sick like 2 weeks ago, and it was like I guess I like bronchitis or some shit because like now my ear is clogged and like I have like a sinus headache like right here. It's like jacked up. So yeah, I'm sorry if I'm a little bit like cloudy for this one. I feel like I am. Sometimes I feel like that and I'm not. When I talk about it, I feel like an idiot. But here we are. I feel like a little bit stupid this review. Hard reach, rip the rip. Okay. He's the center, so he's gonna reach right here. Yeah, okay. This is it's a really tough spot for Tippman. Um the the defensive tackle like transparently does a good job of trying to just split that gap and he throws his helmet in there right away. So when he puts his helmet and his body in front of Tippman, it's gonna be hard for Tippman to swivel around this, right? Now Tomlinson pops up that play side shoulder a little bit, which allows Tippman to get his head in front of it, but still not necessarily an ideal spot to be in. But he like bucket steps right there, and he's just trying to run in front of that. This is not an easy reach block at all. especially again considering how aggressive that defensive lineman is. He tries to scoop him out. Good hand placement, left hand into the chest, left hand into the chest. Now we have defensive lineman who like throws the rip right there. Like his hand is now under Tippman. So now Tippman throws his right hand under that, throws his right hand under that. I can't tell if he actually tries to like pull it backwards or not, or if it just happens by luck. But um, good good job getting in front of it. Regardless, right? Bucket step, left hand in front. He's just trying to get his helmet in front right now. Just trying to get his helmet in front. He does. Trying to do his absolute best to get his hips in front of you. Do you see how he's like, just watch his feet. You see how he's trying to get vertical and lateral at the same time while swiveling his hips around? Really, like one good flexibility right there, right? Nice and low. And yes, he loses some ground in terms of like vertically, but getting in front of that block like he does is like it's a hell of a job. Right? We can see the explosion, good hand placement. Again, run those feet, run those feet, run those feet. I like that play. I like that play from Tippman. Aware, two guys, messy. Okay. Messy. Sets to his left. His left hand unfortunately gets deflected. It was going to go into the chest, but it looks like it rubs off the left hand, so it lands a little bit high. So I guess maybe that's what I'm talking about. Messy. No, not the worst play in the world. It wasn't a shoot there. Sometimes that stuff just happens. Still leans into the block. Leans into the block. Kind of feels Sheldon Rankins going to engage. Tomlinson, I'm not sure why he removes himself from that block. Like Tomlinson's just not good, but it is a little bit messy in terms of like the pass off and stuff here. I guess that's what I'm talking about as well. Tippman's not necessarily an easy spot, but left hand into the shoulder is going to pass it off to Tomlinson. Stays engaged because Tomlinson doesn't pick it up, and good hand positioning. Right here, he's like, okay, Tomlinson can help me out. No, I guess not. Okay, left hand into the chest, and look at him sink under that punch. Left hand into the chest, and then sink into it. Left instep, really nice and low. Eyes up, sees another guy crashing in, removes the right hand, gets hands on that guy, still feels Rankins like kind of fully engaging with him and Tomlinson not picking him up either. And now he's engaging with two guys, jumps back on Rankins. Like there's a lot going on here. It's like messy, but it's a good job by Tippman. Again, ideally, we see that hand land into the chest. It rubs off. Okay, I'm not so mad about it. Tries to get some depth so that Rankins just doesn't just shoot that A gap. Should get more assistance by Tomlinson. Doesn't. Picks it up fully. Hell of a job with leverage there and hand placement. Eyes up. Remove your inside. Pick up that guy. I'm still engaged with him. Like pick him up. Like just messy, but a good job of him handling slop around him. Two flat first level here from Tippman. Okay, your center. Yeah. So we have guard trap. So I used to refer to this as one back power, but I refer to this as one back power if he kicked actually what was Lazard do? Well, one, is there a problem with scheme here? We have three guys, three blockers, only two picked up. So there's a problem with scheme here too. I don't feel like, geez, Jets. All right. So if he's pulling, he should be pulling for a play side linebacker. If he's cracking, it looks like his eyes are onto this level too. So is he supposed to go here? He's supposed to go there. He's supposed to crack. I don't know what Lazard is supposed to be doing here then. Because if he's pulling for this linebacker, who is supposed to be picking up his D end? Oh, sorry. Geez, that's him. Okay, so he's kicking. Duh. I just confused the shit out of myself. I was thinking it was power. I was like, if this is power, this makes no sense. But now it's a trap. So that makes sense. That was so stupid of me. So stupid. So Tippman. Let's get back to Tippman. I just completely blanked myself out. Like if this is He's supposed to be lead blocking and they just allow him to shoot. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but I convinced myself it was something it wasn't. And that's why there's a difference between power and trap. Again, power you'd probably have kick out, let's assume those are not there. Kick out, combo to the backside backer, to the thick backer, him leading for the guard leading for this. That's typically that's what you'd have if it was a true power, but now it's obviously the guard trap, so they're gonna let him penetrate right here. He's gonna kick him out, so that screwed me up. But he has to down block or block back to the one tech right here. So what do we need to do? Again, it's the play is going completely away from him. So the only thing we need to do is just win that play side. So we need to get vertical and then outside here. We cannot get too flat and let him shoot our face because right now, again, like I said before, if he gets vertical right here, if he gets vertical, he's gonna run himself out of the play. Let him get vertical and run himself out of the play. We cannot let him get horizontal. Opens up, flat, crosses his face, and now we have him involved in the play. Now Tippman kind of like rubs off. He rubs off and ends up picking up a linebacker. That's not what's supposed to happen. Time right now, he's not supposed to pass this off and then pick up the linebacker. What's supposed to happen is combo to him, down block, not combo. Then he picks up him and then he kind of shoots backside. So then Tippman picks him up. That's not the design. I guarantee that. So too flat on the first level. He ends up picking him up, whatever. Tippman to fine. Okay, your center. And so now we have inside zone. Now obviously there's nothing by Tippman here, so he's gonna run to the play side. Run to the play side. 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps. He sees him tight. Now if he were to get a little bit more lateral here, Tippman would just get right to the second level. But because he is on the inside shoulder of Tomlinson, he's gonna help himself out. Or he's gonna help Tomlinson out. So runs it down, gets low, left hand into the chest, the right hand into the hip, most likely. Pops him to the outside, pops him, creates plenty of movement, gets on the second level, wins the play side, gives Brees a gap. Doesn't really do much with it with one-on-one there, but that's he's still obviously great, but not much there in the open one-on-one. But good job by Tippman. Typically on that like that third step we want to get hands on, but it's okay because it's outside zone. If this was like inside zone, or if it's let's say if it was a tighter track, then it would be a problem. Like let's say again, tighter track would be a problem because then he would shoot and be right on him. But because it's a wider track, he knows that this linebacker is going to get lateral, so he has a little bit of liberties on the first level to take like an extra 2 steps because typically it's 1, 2, 3. This one's like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4 engage. 5th step get there. Yeah, so he takes the extra 2-step liberty, which is okay. Like we're okay with the 2-step extra. If we're talking about 6 and 7, completely different ball game. But again, it's dependent on the track. More vertical, 3 steps only. More horizontal, 5 steps. Okay, we're fine with that. Again, attack the center of gravity, get to the second level, get hands on. Plenty of a gap there created for Hall, right? Plenty of a gap. Tippman stunt pass off. Center. Okay. Good job by him. Get some depth. Defense line goes across his face. Tippman drops the post. Right foot's the post step. Drops it to pick him up. Right hand into the chest. Extension. Shove him into the guard. Shove him right into the guard. Eyes onto the second level. See the looper. Use him as a push-off point. Redrop the post. Left hand into the chest. Right hand into the hip. Drive him outside. Really good stunt pass off. You go with the TT stunt. Sets outside again. Left foot's that kick step. Now it's the post step, so he drops the post, the right hand into the chest, extension, eyes up, see the looper, pass it off well, left hand into the chest, all good. Good footwork, good hand placement, good combo. LT. Okay. Lake and Tomlinson. I don't know what I mean with LT there, but we'll figure it out, I guess. Oh yeah, Lake and Tomlinson is being bad. Okay, so he's more like a check here. He's hinging on that backside. He's not getting here. Um, Tippman steps to the play side. One, two, three. Takes like the extra two-step liberty again. The linebacker's not there. Get to the linebacker. Chase down the combo. Left hand into the chest area. Right hand into the hip. Extension. Watch overcommitting a little bit there. He is, transparently, he is overcommitting just a little bit because if let's say the linebacker didn't get as lateral as he did, and let's say Tippman didn't, Tippman doesn't have eyes on. If he shot this more downhill, Tippman probably has a pretty tough time, swiveling his hips around. So I would say a little bit of overcommitment on this one from Tippman, but creates good movement. Obviously, has the athleticism to then get his hips around, gets hands on. Now, let's say if Brees were to cut behind Tippman or follow Tippman here in an imaginary world, there's a gap for him. Yeah. But again, I would say a little bit of overcommit on that first level. Tippman. Um, Tippman aware just in case. Okay, center. Yeah, we could see the awareness here. Setting to his right, good hand placement. And again, the right hand does shoot from a little bit low, but why? It's because his hand's already there because of the ball, because of the snap of the ball. But good hand placement in terms of right into the chest, pretty tight elbow angle. Eyes are up. He sees a looper, just in case, goes to clear his outside his inside half, past the initial blocky or the initial guy he's blocking to the guard. But what does he notice now? Obviously that Leggett Tomlinson's engaged with the guy he's going to pick up. So then he goes and engages the guy he was already fully engaged with and drives him to the outside. It's a good job. Again, good awareness. Set to him, hands inside. A guy's about to cross my face. Okay, I'm going to pass this off to the guard. Clear the inside half. Nope, it's not there. It's picked up. Re-engage. It's a really good job, right? Like talking about just understanding and patience and not being quick to like ditch a block. It's a good job. Drag hand in capital letters. Levels. Drag hand levels. Oh, okay, just getting depth. Talk about like get why getting depth as a center is important, especially when you're not engaged. Because let's say he did not get depth here. Let's say he was another couple steps up. It'd be a lot harder for him to get in front of this block, right? So it's a good job getting depth because if we don't, going to be really hard to pick this up because he's going to be, again, just a couple of inches up, a couple of inches up. He's not going to be able to be in front of it. Sets to the right, drag hands out. And this is the perfect example of why that drag hand is well, there's multiple reasons, right? There's multiple levels of drag hand that we talk about. This is one of those levels. I know I've explained it before, so I'm not going to go through all the reasons for a drag hand, but here is one of those reasons. We have that drag hand out to the left. We're looking to our right. Our head snaps to the left. Oh shit, there's a guy there. Well, guess what? Now our arm's already there, right? It also helps us feel that gap. But in this situation, it's more so that his hands is already closer to the defensive lineman now, and there's less of like a load up to get hands on. Setting to the right, he feels the delay from the defensive tackle. When there's a delay, okay, something's happening. Eye snap to the left. Eye snap to the left. Hand's already out there. Hand lands into the face mask. Obviously, ideally, want it lower, but the defensive lineman lowers himself into it, so not so bad. Left hand engages. Right does as well. Nice and low, working off the insteps. Good leverage. Good hand placement. Again, good job. Nice active drag hand. Again, he does a good job of feeling delays. He feels that stunt coming. Feel it coming, pick it up. Okay, now we have a bad stunt pickup. Center. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to see as much lean. I want to see more activity in the feet here. So he again, drag hand to the left, sets to the right. He sees the linebacker coming, in space right here, but he kind of just like he's leaning for contact, but not necessarily like dictating to the linebacker. Um, I just want to see him be a little bit more active with his feet. Like you see how he sees the linebacker coming, and his feet kind of just like they kind of just run to the ground, and then there's a lot of like wasted movement right there. Not a lot of wasted movement, but not a lot of feet activity. And what happens with that is now with not a lot of activity, and now we're leaning. If our hands get deflected or swiped or wiped or anything like that, then we're going to be off balance. It's exactly what happens. I just want to see him be more active with the feet, instead of kind of reaching for contact and just depending on that contact. Right. Again. So he's seemingly very slow as he comes in that contact window. It's because he's leaning and his feet aren't active. He's not that slow. Stunt recognition. Okay. Center. Good feel for it. We know why he does what he does right here. Goes to engage with the one tech. He engages with the one tech. Good tight left hand into the chest. What is the D tackle not doing? The nose tackle not doing? He's not engaging with him fully. Tippman feels that, and in conjunction with the D tackle's eyes looking to the left, just basically tipping off Tippman, uh, to where the stunt's exactly coming from, which based on the movement anyway, it should be, but regardless. Left hand into the chest, feel the delay, remove the right hand, get hands on him. Enough so to pick up the block. Good feel for it. Good feel for the stunt game and recognition. 10 plays left. Yeah, no. A little bit sorry for the second half of this one. A little bit off. You gotta go to sleep, reset, do Q. Take some freaking Claritin. Jeez. Over ski, second level, big steps. Okay. It's not gonna be a difficult one. No. Based on scheme, immediately getting to the second level. Not gonna assist on the first level, fine. But we want more activity in the feet. He gets into the contact window. Lean. Big step, lean. Wanted to see more activity. You have to be able to react to linebackers. We do not want big steps in the second level. Now, obviously, if we're running like full sprint to get to the contact window, yes. So I should rephrase. We don't want big steps in the contact window or anywhere near the contact window because linebackers are quicker. So I'm okay with big steps to jump to start because we need to get there. But in that window, just run off our insteps, short, choppy steps, and allow ourselves to get lateral. If we do not, we're end up leaning for the block, and linebackers are typically not just going to take you head on. Now, if you can take them head on, okay, cool. But what linebacker is going to take on an offensive lineman who outweighs him by 60 pounds head on? You typically don't see it. They're going to get lateral. So we got to be ready for that lateral movement. We're not. He gets inside on the tackle. Tippman balanced when not. Center. Yeah, he is. Again, good balance here. Snaps the ball again. Tough spot for Tippman. Tough for him to get depth right there because he can't. It's gonna be hard for him. It's just a tough spot. Centers are in terms of engagement with that right arm, just inherently difficult based on the fact that he's snapping the ball. So his arm is low. Unfortunately, it gets like kind of like swipe chopped at first, but he's still able to land into the chest. He lands it into the chest. He's a little bit off balance just because he didn't have like good contact off the jump. So like right now he's kind of leaning into it, doesn't really have a point to like kind of set down on. Ends up off balance, but is still able to land the hand inside, attempting to pass it off to the right tackle. His eyes, even in a really uncomfortable spot, are still up. Is able to like look at the flexibility. He's able to drop on the kick step, drop the post, flexibility, left hand into the chest, and pick that up too. That's not an easy spot to be in. Again, sometimes we're put in shitty spots. This is a shitty spot to be in. The defensive lineman knows exactly what he's doing right here in terms of attacking that elbow. He knows where that arm's going to be because he has to snap the ball. Tippman's in a tough spot, still gets the arm there. Again, it's off balance because of it. But the flexibility and like the looseness in the hips right here to drop the posts in one step and pick that up is very impressive movement skills. This is atypical movement skills. Good job by Tippman. Tippman active eyes. All right, your center. Okay. So good activity. Again, you have some guys who are a little bit too concerned with the first level here. Tippman knows the blocking assignment. Again, kind of a ricochet off the jump here. Gets hands on. Gets hands on the nose tackle. Obviously knows the right guard's going to engage with him as well. So he splits him. Does a good job splitting him. Now, obviously, at this point, let's say the defensive tackle were to fully engage with Tippman. Tippman picks it up. If he doesn't fully engage with them and he feels him go to the right guard, then guess what? You're free. Right? That's all it is. Split the man. Know your blocking assignment. Eyes into the second level. Linebacker's not blitzing. Okay. Look at the first level. We have a TE stunt. The end's looping in. Tippman sees it, runs it down, gets hands on. Enough for Simeon to get rid of the ball. But good job by Tippman. Again, knowing that blocking assignment, splitting it, eyes to the second level, eyes to the first level, see the stunt, pick it up. Tippman 2 for 1, patient hands. All right. Center. Yeah, see, so this time he gets lateral. He gets lateral, but he feels the defensive lineman getting lateral as well. And instead of like reaching for engagement right here, so instead of step engage, because at this point, with him moving lateral, he'd be reaching he'd be reaching and be off balance, and then he'd probably fall. So it's a good job just feeling the lateral movement, not reacting to it right away. Quick drop of the post, because the left's going to be the post. Then drops the post, engages as he closes more ground, left hand into the chest, gets good extension, and then picks up the blitzing or the looper as well. It's a good job again, just feeling the stunt. One, you can see he's leaning pretty heavy into that, right? He's already leaning to that side to be maybe aware that pre-snap. Feels it out. He gets lateral. Don't engage. Don't reach for contact. Get your feet under you into the block. Good job. Engage. Eyes up. Tomlinson doesn't have the same feel for it because like right now that defensive lineman is delaying. Tomlinson doesn't feel it. Doesn't get depth. Of course he doesn't. Good job by Tippman. Tippman figure it out. All right, center. Yeah. Tough spot for him. Tough spot for him, and Laken Tomlinson is because it's an outside zone right here. He has he has to get to the second level pretty much immediately because outside zone linebacker's gonna get lateral quicker, right? So he can't stay in the first level as long. So Tippman has to like bucket step, snap, bucket step, and so like you have the bucket step, which is gonna lose again. There's different levels of like severity. You have the Scooch technique, which is you're losing a little bit of ground to gain a little bit of ground. When you're like bucket step and run around a guy, you're losing a lot of ground. So it's more just different situations call for different things. With him having to get to the second level here, if he just scooches, if he shoots that play sig gap, it's gonna be pretty much impossible. So he has to bucket step, race to get his helmet in front, race to get the helmet in front, and then figure it out after that point, right? That's probably why I said figure it out here. Just get the helmet in front first. Helmet's connected to the spine. Get the spine in front. Get the hips in front. Get the body in front. bucket step, left hand over the top, right hand into the chest. Defensive lineman's off balance. It's actually a really good play. It's a really good play by Tippman. In terms of hand placement, um, or sorry, so the right hand goes to engage into the chest and actually lands into the elbow, but then refits into the shoulder. That's okay. Ideally here, now it's gonna be a little bit hard because the right hand, like there's a lot of distance. There's a lot of distance from the right hand to the chest right here, so it's gonna be really hard for him to basically reach across, engage, and then engage like this. So it lands a little bit wide into the shoulder. It's okay. The point is, or the main point is, he gets his helmet in front, and then this outside hand, the play side hand, has to get onto the shoulder, has to get onto the shoulder, and then he's going to drive him to the inside off that hand. So loses ground or gain ground, get the helmet in front, left hand into the shoulder, nice tight elbow angle, drive him to the inside. Defensive lineman slips. Good job. 5 plays left. Tippman never get placement jerked. Okay, so he never gets his hands on jerked. Zero tech right here. Snaps the ball. Snaps the ball. Defensive lineman takes his chest immediately. Again, it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. Right hand comes up, splashed, chest controlled, bull, jerk, arm over, gets in on the sack. I don't know if it's actually technically a sack given up. When you have an aggressive zero tech, it is hard. You know, maybe you want to see that left hand engaged a little bit quicker than it is, but not an easy spot to be in. Tippman, need to keep feet under the block. Okay, center. Yeah, I want to see him close a little more ground here. So again, obviously shuffling to his left, engages, shuffling to his left, engages. One, again, what do you want to see? I want to see the hand a little bit lower than it is. You know, you create the most movement on that hip. So the higher it is, the worse. And obviously it's on the back as well. So not the best hand placement from Tippman. Refits it, which is good. But once he refits it, we want to grab him. So ideally right here, he sets to him, left hand to the chest, right hand to the hip, and then just pulls himself into it. Unfortunately, Tippman lands his hand high. Then he's forced to refit it. And he's trying to like drive him, but he's just trying to get some like, extension. Yeah. A little bit passive here. I want to see him shoot that left into the chest, right into the hip, and then get under that instead of like leaning back into it like you're kind of getting bull rushed. I would like to see him, and we kind of saw him do this before where he picked up a guy and extended him out like that. I want to see more lift and get in there from Tippman, because now he's leaning a little bit. If that left hand is defeated because we're leaning, we're gonna go to the ground. Yeah, I want to see him drive him outside a little bit more there. Freaking head starting to kill me. Tippman long load up, be quick. Okay, your center. Sets to his left. Sets to his left. Left hand. Left hand drops. Shoots from low. It's a little bit hard to see with this weather. Shoots from low. The other problem here too is he's a little bit flat here as well. A little bit flat. You see, he goes to engage, and he's anticipating the nose tackle, the defensive tackle, to go where he's already going, in terms of like penetrating that A gap. So he depends on him going there, and he doesn't. He shoots across his face, lets up a hit or a pressure, you know, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's actually technically a hit, because I don't think he actually hits him, but a little bit too flat. He oversets that a little bit. That's all that is. Yeah. Ends up ducking for contact a little bit. Hand low. Duck for contact. Face crossed. Tippman reach, dot, dot. All right. Center. Yeah, it's a good job. Um, bucket step, lose to gain, right hand or right hand into the actually the right hand's not into the shoulder. Oh, okay. I see what he does. Okay, okay, I like this block. So, bucket step, he gets his so he bucket steps, turns his left shoulder, gets the left hand into the chest, and as he gets the left hand into the chest, he's just gonna work the hips in front and then drive around it. Because right now, if he tries to, so basically, if he turns that right shoulder, it's gonna open up his hips, and if he opens up his hips, his head's not gonna be in front. So it's just some body mechanical stuff is why he opens up that right shoulder and doesn't engage. It's because he's trying to get in front of it. Again, if he has to get this hand attached, his hips naturally open, then he's not able to run in front of it. So bucket step, left hand into the chest, swivel the hips around as we're getting that engagement with the right hand into the, elbow, ribs. It's a hard to tell, but he does a good job getting in front of the block. Good footwork. Good idea with the hands right there. I like that. 62, last play. Tippman reach, hard to see. Few good reaches this game. Yeah, it's hard to do film in a game like this. But it's another good reach block. Now we have more of like a scooch. And I want to see that right foot close a little bit more ground or cover a little more ground laterally, but loses the gain. Left hand into the chest, seemingly. Right hand into the shoulder, and then swivel the hips around, instep, stay in front of the block. Opens up a big gap, right? It's a big gap. Tippman's part of the reason for it. Good job getting that helmet in front, engaging, swiveling the hips around, staying in front of it. All right, that's it for the review. Again, sorry for a little bit cloudy with this one. Is what it is. I appreciate you guys. I will see you for the next one.